Hello, welcome everybody. I see a lot of people coming in. We'll just wait a few minutes to let everyone come into the room before we get started. I hear two people.
Hello.
Hello, Zubida and Diala. Thank you for joining us. We'll just give people a minute or two to come in the room, and then we'll get started. We have two speakers who confirmed but haven't joined yet, Sana Abdesamed and Rania Mumtaz. So in case you're in the audience and missed the panelist link, just write in the chat and we can promote you to panelist. Okay, and let's wait just one more minute. And you feel free to write in the chat in the meantime, where you're coming from, if you're part of an OS national chapter, if you've seen any of the other regional sessions, just your name. Hello, Shaima from Egypt and Imran from Turkey. Welcome. Okay, I think that we can go ahead and get started. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. We want to welcome you to the Arab region session of the Short Talks Big Impacts competition, which is organized by us here at the Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World, or as we call it for short, OWSD. We're thrilled to be holding the second edition of this competition. Some of you may have joined us last year when we organized three regional rounds. And one of those was a combined Asia Pacific and Arab region session. But since we had a large number of participants from those regions, we decided this year to create a dedicated session just for the Arab region. So we're especially pleased to have you here for what is really the first standalone Arab region round of this competition. We know that for some of you in certain countries in the region right now is a very tense and uncertain time, and we just want to say first that we really hope for the safety of all of you and your family and friends. So thanks a lot for taking the time to be here with us. Today we're going to be showcasing wonderful women scientists from across the Arab region who will each be presenting their research in just 3 minutes. And the top two winners of today's competition will be moving on to the big global finale next Wednesday. That's March 11th. And they'll each present again in front of a panel of judges and a voting audience to determine our top global winners. So we already have two winners from Africa, two winners from Latin America and the Caribbean, and two winners from the Asia Pacific region. And today we'll discover who from the Arab region will go on to compete in the finale. I introduce myself. I'm Erin Johnson, and I work at the O Secretariat right now, mostly on our early career fellowship program and also our awards program, as well as a little bit on communications. And I'd like to introduce also my colleague and my co-host, Giulia Signori. Would you like to introduce yourself, Giulia?
Yes, thank you very much, Erin. I'm Giulia Signori. I work at OWSD, mostly on the national chapters. I'm the focal point for the national chapters. National chapters, as you may know, are chapters that are created in the countries where there are more than 20 members. So if you have a national chapter, I really invite you to join your national chapter activities. Or if in your country there is not a national chapter, it would be a good idea maybe to start thinking about setting up one. So if you have any question, please feel free to reach out to me. And I'm really excited to be here today to know more about your researches as well.
Thank you, Julia. So we want to give you a little bit of background about why we decided to organize this competition. At OST, we really believe that clear and effective science communication is essential skill for scientists, especially when you're translating what is sometimes very complex research for audiences who may not have a scientific background or at least a specialist background. I think many people still picture scientists just working alone in laboratories, without really understanding how their work connects to everyday life or major policy issues. So being able to bridge that gap is very important for your career as scientists. We have at OS more than 11,000 members around the world who are all tackling challenges in their communities and on a global level. But communicating the relevance and the impact of that work can be just as important as conducting the research itself. So whether you're speaking with policymakers or working in communities or raising public awareness, the ability to clearly articulate your work makes a significant difference. And a lot of the times you don't have a whole lot of time to make your case. So developing the skills to explain your research concisely and compellingly, as we say, sometimes the so-called elevator pitch is so valuable. So today's competition is about getting to the core of your work, why it matters, what impact it has, and why people should care. And now I'll hand things over to Julia again, who's going to explain how the competition today is going to run. So over to you, Julia.
Thank you, Erin. So here is how the competition will run today. Erin will give a brief introduction of each of the presenters that we have here, and then all of them, each of them will have exactly 3 minutes to share their research with us. There will be a timer which is going to appear on Erin's screen. So we will keep the screen spotlighted with Erin's timer all the time. So the presenter can also keep track of the time, and you can all check where the time running by while the presenter is making their presentation. After the presentations, after all of them, you as the audience will have the chance to vote for your favorite presentation based on how well you think they engaged the audience, how well they communicated, the potential impact of their research, how clear they were, what kind of outlets they use, and so on. We will be using a poll that you will see here in the webinar. So you should see the poll. It will appear when the time comes. And it's really important that you keep note about the presentations that you like, that you don't like, and so on, because at the end you will be called to vote without having the opportunity to re-listen to all the to all the presentations. I'm also very excited to tell you that the top 3 winners of the global finale competition. So we will have 2 people going to the global finale from this competition, and the top 3 winners of this competition that is going to be on the 11th of March. They will have a great reward for winning the competition. There will be the judge choices and 2 winners from the audience, and they will be granted the opportunity to attend a scientific conference of their choice, funded by OWSD. And I think this will be very relevant because it's one of the most common requests that we get from our members if we can provide some grants to participate into a conference. So the winners of the competition will have this possibility. And so Basically, we are here mostly to have fun and practice our science communication skills, but there are also some real stakes for today's competition. So again, you will only vote one presentation, so one presenter at the end. So we strongly suggest that you take notes of the presentation that you liked most, because there will be no voting in real time. But at the end, we will bring everyone back to the screen very briefly. Before we begin the voting, so you can remember everyone's face and you can have some hint in order to understand who to vote. I hope everything is clear at this time. Let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. So back to you, Erin.
Great. Thank you, Julia. Okay, so yes, as Julia said, let's go ahead and get started with the presentations. So we'll put the timer up on the screen so you know how much time you have left. But for the presenters, don't worry about like trying to unmute yourself as fast as you can, or if you have a lag or a slow connection, it's okay. We will just come back to you. We won't disqualify you. Don't stress too much about the timer. Um, so with that said, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our first presenter, who is Maisa Gaidoum Ahmed Gaidoum from Sudan.
Hello.
Hello, Maisa. Oh, that's right. I need to make Julia co-host. Um, we have a very large number of members from Sudan, I think nearly 300. So I'm sure that there are many of you here from Sudan today, and we're very glad to see you. And
Yes.
Maisa is going to talk to us about keeping the lights on, AI-driven energy solutions for a fragile states with Sudan as a case study. And this is obviously a very timely and relevant topic right now, not just in Sudan, but in the region. And it's an application of AI that maybe a lot of us haven't really considered. So please, Maisa, tell us about that.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Maisa from Sudan. Good evening and good afternoon, everyone. I want, before I begin, to wish all happy women and wonderful women, international, happy International Women's Day in advance. As to start, as a Sudanese researcher from Sudan, I have seen hospitals uh, lose power during critical moments and students trying to study, but uh, the candle burn out, burns out. Even now, we are in this meeting. Imagine we don't have uh, electricity and our screen freezing. So we will not see each other. Uh, this case is happens in Sudan every day. It's not an accident, but it's a daily life for millions. Sudan's energy system faces three major challenges. It's first, aging infrastructure. Our infrastructure is old. Then, dependence on expensive oil during crisis, and it's difficult to get during crisis. And the third one, poor demand feasibility, which leads to waste and blackouts. Sudan has great renewable energy. We have solar, we have wind, but it's outdated. Our systems are outdated, and even in most Arab regions. And we have to keep energy. Uh, uh, so the solution to keep energy and the power is to use AI or machine learning uh, solution. So we use machine learning or AI techniques to power and to make ourselves easy. AI can do what humans can't do fast enough. AI can predict, can make priorities for critical services like hospitals and water systems. And even AI can detect faults before it happens. So just like a smart system that keeps this meeting running, AI can make essential alive and running a fragile grid into a resilient one. Using machine learning like LSTM, one of the machine learning techniques, can predict and forecast wind and solar power. Uh, so this make it more accurate and more reduce the uncertainty of energy by 30 to 40%. This is my case study. In a country at a war like Sudan, uh, we don't need perfect power. We just need a tough power. And this case is not only for Sudan, it's for all Arab region. AI enables local solar and wind grids to run independently, like linking the energy, not only the energy, but linking this, sustainable development goals like SDG 7 and SDG 16. This model goes beyond Sudan and acting as a digital shield for all Arab regions and for all world as well. That keeps schools, clinic, and even communities power, even when the main grid fails. So technology is
Uh,
not a tool,
my sister,
only a tool.
I think to be fair to the time limit, we have to stop you there.
Okay.
But
So okay, AI is making ourselves so easy and makes the life on. Thank you so much.
thank you very much. It was very, very interesting, and it's really nice to hear about like such a positive and useful application of AI because I think sometimes we hear like very scary outcomes of AI and applications.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to invite our next speaker, who is Lina Al Nadaf from Syria. Hello, Lina.
Hello,
Uh,
hello, everybody.
nice to see you.
Thank
Syria
you.
is a country where we actually um, don't have a national chapter, but if you, Lina, or if anyone in the audience from Syria is interested in starting one, we'd be very eager to discuss that with you and get that process rolling. So please get in touch, or maybe you and Julia can connect later. Um, so Lena is going to talk to us today about bio-inspired fire suppression materials, harnessing plant heat stress adaptation for sustainable firefighting technologies. And we've had a few different presentations in the last regional sessions about taking inspiration from plants for therapeutic purposes, but not for fire suppression. So I'm very curious to hear about this. So over to you, Lena.
Thank you. My research about how can we find a safe, cheap, and natural way to stop fires. Imagine our food fields like big wheat farms. What if this farm could also help us stop fires? Every year, many fires burn farms and forests. This harm our food and our planet. Also, many fire chemicals are harmful to health and expensive. So, my smart idea, I found the answer in farm waste, things we usually throw away. My project makes a new fire stopping material. It uses waste from hard wheat, soft wheat, cumin, and black seed. We don't just recycle, we learn from nature. We take the good parts from this plant, then we use them to make zinc oxide nanoparticles. These are tiny, tiny particles. You cannot see them, but they are the key to our material working so well. They are like nature's small helpers for safety. Our results are truly surprising and very good. Our new material stop fires well, and it is also safe for people and the environment. It breaks down naturally. We turned farm waste, which was a problem, into a strong safety tool. This is new idea helps create a circle economy. This means we use everything and nothing is waste. My work shows that answers to big problems can be found in simple place. My copying nature, we showed a new way to turn problems into good chance. Today, I ask you to see Far West in in a new light. It's not an end, it's a new start for smart green idea that can change our future. Thanks for all.
Thank you so much, Lena. I think it's always really nice to hear about research that solves two problems in one. You know, this circular economy, as you said, it's a really a fascinating um, line of research, I think. So thank you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so our next speaker is Hiba Ibid from Egypt.
Samira.
Okay. Welcome, Hiba. Egypt is also one of our largest national chapters. We have more than 400 members there, which is fantastic. So I'm sure there are many of you also in the audience from Egypt today. Welcome. And Hiba is going to tell us about bridging science, innovation, and policy. And as we said in the introduction, we think that this bridge between science and policy is absolutely critical, and is something that we can do a lot to improve upon as scientists. So please, Hiba, tell us about that.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hiba Abid, and my journey started with one simple question: how do plants survive stress, and how can we use that knowledge to solve real problems? I started in plant genomics and molecular biology, studying gene families that control drought response, senescence, and green filling in crops like wheat, sorghum, and maize. These processes directly affect food security. Instead of adding more chemicals to agriculture, I focused on natural priming, using eco-friendly compound to activate plant-own stress-responsive genes. This strategy enhances gene expression and improves stress tolerance, offering a sustainable solution for agriculture under harsh conditions and climate change. Through comparative genomics, I identified and analyzed key gene families that control stress responses across cereal genomes, uncovering their evolution, structure, and roles in drought tolerance and yield. Some of these studies were recognized as groundbreaking contribution in international scientific platform and databases, and the identified genes and their predicted regulatory rules have been integrated into global genomic resources as sorghum base, contributing to a deeper understanding of stress adaptation mechanisms in cereals. But I wanted to go further, not only from genes, but to applications. So I moved into structural biology, studying how proteins function at the molecular level, not only in plant stress response, but also in interaction with plant-derived natural compound. Plant-derived natural compound accumulated under stress conditions and offering a great resource for various biotechnological applications. So I investigated how these compounds bind to specific proteins and act as mosquito repellent or potential anti-cancer agents. At this point, my research shifted from understanding biology to using biology. I transformed research finding into innovative prototypes that received awards in innovation competition. To multiply this impact, I trained in innovation programs and worked with my students to develop a plant-based mosquito repellent and innovative biofertilizer on soil microbiome data analysis by next generation sequencing. And after that, I selected as a ambassador for sustainable innovation and as a policy member in the Council of Higher Education Ministry to study laws and legislation about innovation and scientific research. So my journey shows one thing. When science connect to sustainability, innovation, and people needs, it become more than knowledge, it become impact. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hiba. I really liked the way you phrased your conclusion. That yeah, that it really is the difference, I guess, between research and impact is making that bridge. So thank you. Um, I would like to bring the next speaker, Dina Aboussod from Egypt also. Welcome, Dina.
Hello.
I'm sorry
Hello.
if I
This
mispronounce your name. I'm You'll have to correct me. Uh,
Dina Abu
Buster. Okay, okay, I wasn't so far off actually. Dina, you're going to be talking to us today about from calves to children, breaking the cryptosporidium cycle in Egypt. And obviously, any illness or disease that is making people sick is an important subject of research, but I think especially when children are the ones affected, this is something that really touches all of us. So please share with us how your work addresses this.
Hello, let me first take you to a village in Egypt in which farmer watches his newborn calf weaken and die within days. At the same time, a mother rushes her child to a clinic suffering severe diarrhea and dehydration. Two different settings, but the same hidden cause, Cryptosporidium parva. Cryptosporidium is a microscopic organism which moves silently into the environment and between humans and animals. Its oocysts are environmentally resistant that spread through contaminated water, poor sanitation, and close contact to livestock. It's one of the leading causes of diarrhea in children under 5 and newborn livestock. For farmers, it means economic loss due to significant mortality. And for families, it means hospitalization, malnutrition, and long-term health consequence. Cryptosporidium is responsible for 40% of diarrheal diseases in children worldwide. But here is the real problem. The real problem is that diagnosis still depends on microscopy, which is time consuming, requires expertise, and still miss low level infections. Low-level infections means misdiagnosis, which means that infected animals continue shedding parasites into environment, sustaining the transmission. We asked a simple and powerful questions: why we are using importing solution for a parasite that lives in our own environment. Me and my team developed a sandwich ELISA kit for diagnosis of fecal oocyst antigen, Cryptosporidium antigen. We made a prototype which is 4 times cheaper than imported alternatives, faster than conventional microscopy, applicable for both humans and animals, and more accurate for Egyptian field conditions. Our diagnostic kit showed accuracy 98.5% than 95% for imported kits. We tested it on more than 1,000 fecal samples from humans and different animal species. Our kit is not just a laboratory product, it's a One Health solution. And beyond science, our project is a scientific entrepreneurship led by women in Egypt, turning research into product and turning knowledge into impact. Cryptosporidium is microscopic, but its impact is not. It's a one parasite connecting two worlds, and one solution can protect them all. Thanks to my team, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, Gina. It sounds like you've had really impressive results with the accuracy of your testing. It's very impressive. Congratulations. And I think this was a very good example of why it's important for local scientists to find solutions to local problems. So thank you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I think the next two speakers on our schedule are both not here. So we have up next Diala Atiyat from Jordan. Welcome, Diala. It's nice to
Welcome.
see. Thank you. It's nice to see representation from Jordan. Um, and you are going to be talking to us today about reviving Al Salt downtown, a smart city approach to heritage-led urban regeneration. And I think urban planning is something that we haven't heard anything about in any of our competitions so far, but I think it's an area where there's really a lot of potential applications of science and engineering. So we're very curious to hear about this subject. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone.
Well, I have just 3 minutes, and I promise you to make them worth your time. If you enjoy this short journey, please vote at me at the end. Let's begin. Um, Imagine walking through a street where every stone has a story. The windows are arched, the facades are golden, and the air carries the scents of jasmine and old wood. You feel like time has slowed down, like the city itself is whispering to you. Um, Now imagine that the same street, empty, shops closed, young people gone, building crumbling one wall at a time. This is not a scene from a forgotten film. This is what is happening right now to some of the most beautiful historic cities around the world. Um, these cities survived centuries, but they are struggling to survive right now in the modern age. Here is the quiet issue of my research. What or when the city becomes a museum in someone's guidebooks, but not a living place for its own. This is a problem. It will become to fade. It is slowly dims. So the question is, what if we could make this city smarter without making it stranger to itself? So think it this way. Let's say that you have a beautiful vintage grandfather clock. It is full of memory. You would not smash it and replace it with a smart screen, right? But you will carefully install a quiet mechanism, a smart one, inside it to make it useful for the next generation. This is exactly what smart heritage planning can do for our cities, for our traditional cities. In my research, I explored how we can layer smart, invisible tools onto existing fabric of this old city. For example, the research provided a design of a heritage trail with smart lighting, make you remote from one building to another with a smart map. This will save energy. This will make the city safer. And suddenly, evening walks becomes a part of the soul of the city. No more crumbling facade, just want to maintain. It will become a conservation, a connection, and a way to care. And when people care, they invest and they stay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diala. I really liked this metaphor that you used about the vintage clock. You know, it really makes you understand what you're losing. And also, I really want to visit this jasmine scented town. So, thank you very much. Uh, our next speaker is Rashan Othman Ali Rashan from Iraq. Let's see if we can get her on screen. There she is. And we do have a national chapter also in Iraq. It's a fairly recently established national chapter in 2024. So it's great to have two presenters, I think, with us today from Iraq. And Rashan is going to tell us about advancing an innovative machine learning model for monthly rainfall forecasting in a hot summer Mediterranean climate region in Iraq. And this is obviously a very critical topic, as we know the Arab region in particular, but also many other countries are facing a lot of water uncertainty, especially with climate change. So definitely essential that we have more information about this topic. So please, Rashan, tell us about that.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Roshan Osman, Assistant Professor, Dean of the College of Engineering in University of Rahman. Today, I want to present my research about water resource management in north of Iraq, Erbil. As we know nowadays, climate change very strongly affected on all the kinds of the precipitation. So based on this research, we get the data from Erbil station, rainfall data, by using artificial neural network and 5 different parameters to find out the rainfall prediction. As we know, in Erbil, north of Iraq, we have wet and rainy winter, but dry and hot summer. So we should manage the rainfall data from the winter to use it for the summer. So based on this phenomena that we have all the hydrologists, we write a proposal and publish a paper about the artificial neural network and find out that the best model for this kind of prediction was ANN, artificial neural network, because that the R square for that was zero point 0.8. It mentioned that we can, in future, we can use the same model by using different parameters to solve that some places have not enough water during the dry season. And the other parameter is XGB, also achieved the best parameter for the calibration model. So based on all those models, we got the result that water resource management and stakeholder decision makers can use different parameters. Like, as we know, rainfall is one of the main and important factor to affect on the infiltration, evaporation, all the parameters in hydrology cycle. So in the future, it's better to use different parameter and using more data, long data. Like in my research, I just use it 2003 till 2023. So if you in future use more, then we can get more reliable result to use in find the problems in water resource management from all the countries and get a better result. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rashan. I wish you a lot of luck with that research. It's really, as we said, very important. So our next speaker is Zubida Nemer from Algeria. There she is. And Zubida is going to kind of keep us on the same theme of water scarcity, talking about beneath our feet, securing water in a changing climate. So please, Zubida, what is the approach that your research takes to this issue?
Thank you so much. So, hello everyone. And when we think about water, we think about this usually. We think about it being clear, visible, and accessible. But the most important source of fresh water on Earth are not like this. They are, in fact, invisible and they are beneath our feet, and we call them groundwater. And this groundwater today supplies half of the world's water needs in drinking, agriculture, and industry. And in many regions facing drought and climate change, like Rushan just presented, this groundwater is becoming one of the most reliable source of fresh water, if not the only one. And yet we don't think about it quite often until our wells run dry. But the challenge is we cannot manage what we cannot see. So we need to understand this groundwater. Groundwater is not just an underground lake. It moves through tiny spaces and pores inside rocks like these ones. And these pores and fractures, they transmit water and they store it. And this process can go slowly and silently, unnoticed for years and for centuries. But how do we understand what is happening beneath our feet and inside these tiny rocks? And this is when my research comes in. I use geophysics, which is a way of seeing underground without having to dig. So by sending electrical signals into the earth, we measure how the rocks respond to this signal, and we measure also how the signal is behaving inside the rock. And this can help us map where the water-bearing layers can be found. Think of it as a medical scan, but for the earth. So instead of drilling blindly, we use geophysics to identify the areas where groundwater exists and how deep it is and how extensive it might be. And this will help decision makers plan better where to drill the wells, and this will help in sustainably managing and reducing the risk of overexploitation and also pollution of this groundwater. And this groundwater is not just water. It means food security, it means public health, and also stability all around the world. So without this groundwater, plants won't grow, crops will fail, livelihoods will disappear probably, and entire communities will become vulnerable. In many parts in the global south, actually, groundwater is the last line of defense against intensive climate uncertainty. But if we extract it faster than nature actually replenish it, we are borrowing from the future, and this is not good. So as a scientist working in water stressed region, I see firsthand how this is becoming critical and how this hidden resource is important. So my goal is not only to study it, but try to protect it, and using this science to bridge between the need to understand this invisible underground resource and the visible needs of communities that are above. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Zubida. It sounds like a very innovative approach. And I like a lot how you explained what groundwater is, because it's true, I think, as a non-scientist, you think of it as just a lake underground, as you said. So it was good that you clarified that point. Um, so we're actually already on our last presenter, last but not least, who is Ruksar Omar, also from Iraq. And thank you for your patience, Ruksar, because I know it's not very easy to be the one that goes last. And Ruksar is going to talk to us about attitudes of university students towards people with mental health disorders, a survey-based study. And I think there's been a lot of advancement in awareness about mental health disorders in many ways, but it's an area where there's still a very long way to go, both in our scientific understanding and also in public attitudes. So I'm very curious to see what your research has found. So please, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me begin with one question. If 1 in 8 people suffer from a mental health condition, why do so many suffer in silence? My name is Ruksar Muhammad Umar, with a PhD in social psychology. Today, I speak about the silent challenge in our university, mental health stigma. In our research, we conducted among university students using cross-sectional survey design in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. We examined how young people perceive individuals living with mental health disorder. The result were clear. Even educated students still hold negative attitudes shaped by stereotyping and fear and limited awareness. Our study showed that the stigma not only limited treatment, it limited dignity, opportunity, and social inclusion. Yet, unlike physical illness, mental health disorders are often hidden because individuals fear judgment rather than seeking support. However, our research also provides hope. We found that awareness, education, and positive interactions can significantly improve attitudes. When students learn that the mental health disorders are treatable, empathy increases, discrimination decreases. This is why I strongly advocate to integrating mental health education into university curricula and establishing counseling and psychological guidance within higher education institution. It is fortunate that this center has recently been established. Today, my message is so clear. Mental health awareness is not medical responsibility. It is an educational and social responsibility. When we change attitudes, we can change human lives. Let us work together to build inclusive academic and education environment where every individual feels valued, understood, and supported. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ruksar. That was a very impressive statistic. I had no idea that the 1 in 8, I mean, the mental health afflictions are as high as 1 in 8 people, but it makes sense, I guess.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a very good idea, I think, to embed this kind of education and awareness in universities and schools. It's a critical age for learning. So thanks very much for sharing with us. Um, so thank you so much to all of our presenters. I think it's very clear the passion that you all have for your work, and it's always so impressive and astounding to me the array of different problems and different innovations that OS scientists are working on. It really leaves me inspired and optimistic to see all this wonderful research. So now that we've heard all 8 presentations, it's time for the audience to cast your votes for the best presentation. But first, we're just going to bring everyone back up on screen very quickly so you can see their names and their faces again. So let me do that now. So first we had Maisa Gaidoum Ahmed Gadoum from Sudan, who told us about using AI in fragile states for power solutions. There she is. Then we had Lina Al-Nadaf from Syria, who talked to us about using native plants for developing new fire suppression materials. Oh yeah, if you don't have your camera on, presenters, yeah. Then we have Heba Abid from Egypt, who talked to us about also using plants as an inspiration for drought solutions and how she's taken that bridge to policy. Then we had Dina Abelsud from Egypt, who talked to us about uh, this cryptosporidium cycle and her new diagnostic method, a local diagnostic method for better diagnosis of that. Then we heard from Diala Atiat from Jordan, who talked to us about reviving historic city centers using smart city technology and urban planning. Then we heard from Rashan Athman Ali Rashan, who talked to us about this improved forecasting model for predicting and tracking rainfall in Iraq. And then we heard from Zubida Nemer from Algeria, who also talked to us about water scarcity from the perspective of better prediction of the groundwater resources. And last, we heard from Rukhsar Omar from Iraq about the attitudes of university students towards mental health and how we can improve their understanding of those. So now we're going to go ahead and open the poll. So please take a moment to vote for the presenter who you think communicated their research most effectively and did a good job of engaging you and expressing the impact that their research is having. We're going to keep the voting open for about 2 minutes. So get your vote in, fairly quickly. And don't forget that the top 2 presenters will go on to the grand finale next week. So your vote helps decide who's going to compete in that. So let me open the poll now, and we'll see you back here in just about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Okay, you should now see the poll. A few people have said that if they're on their phone, they had trouble seeing the poll, so you may join from a computer if you are on a phone and you don't see the poll. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and close the poll. We'll just give you like 10 more seconds in case you didn't get your vote in. Okay, gonna close the poll and just give us a second to make sure we have the right order. Okay. So we have the results of the voting ready, and I'm going to ask Julia to unveil the winners, please.
Thank you so much. So thank you all for being part of today's exciting Arab region session of this Short Talks Big Impact competition. It was, I think, an incredible showcase of research and passion, and really every one of you, every presenter demonstrated how science can truly make an impact and a difference in our world. Now it's finally time to announce the winners. After careful voting from our audience and consideration of the impact and clarity of each presentation, I am very pleased to announce the top 3 winners from today's session. So, in third place, well done to Maitha Gaidum Ahmed. Congratulations. Then, in second place, the runner-up is Roshan Othman Ali Roshan. Congratulations to you. If you start a video,
Yeah.
we can spotlight you as one of the winners.
There she is.
Okay.
Congratulations.
And the top 1 winners are, because we have a tie, so we have Zubida Nemer and Dina Abelsud. Congratulations to you. Really well done and good job. A big round of applause also to all our amazing presenters, and thank you very much to our wonderful audience for being part of this vibrant and engaged community. We always have a very good participation to all these events, so I'm really happy that this was the case too. You have made the session of today truly special. Over to you, Erin.
Thank you, Julia, and big congratulations to all of our incredible presenters and especially to the winners. I think that each one of you has shown how science can make a difference and how important it is to be able to communicate that to the world. And as Julia said, thank you also to the audience. We hope that it's been a fun and enlightening session for you and that you've taken away some ideas and inspiration for your own science communications efforts. And maybe next year you'll want to sign up to present your research. Uh, so please, we really encourage everybody to register for the global finale competition next week on Wednesday, March 11th, where you'll see Zubida and Dina again, and also the wonderful winners from the other regions. And if you're an OWSD member or subscribe to our mailing list, you should see that registration link in your inbox today, now that we have the names of all the winners. Otherwise, you can check our website, and the link is also in the news item that we have there about the competition if you're not a member. So we wish a great day to everybody, and we hope to see you next week. Thank you again.